Folks, there's a point to this, right? I'm showing you, you don't know what you think you know sometimes. And just like you don't know what you think you know, other people don't know what they think they know. And don't you ever leave anything up to chance. The most dangerous thing you can ever do in real estate is assume that people know what they're doing. You gotta make real estate transactions stupid proof, right? I'm being dead serious. You gotta make them stupid proof. And let me show you why. Which, by the way, Maureen, you had the question. I'm sorry, you can go and ask it. Talk about it now. Like I said, now's a good time. Don't always ask questions.
Yeah. So this is it's probably pretty obvious, but on Learn Test Pass, the little quiz, unit 1, it's question number 3, and it's I did like true false method. Like if you're not sure, just do true false and answer wrong. So the question is, an agent is working with Bob Buyer and knows that Bob is willing to pay the asking price of a property listed with her firm. She must keep this confidential if. So 3 out of the 4 answers are if she's a seller sub-agent, if she's a non-professional agent representing the seller, or if she used to represent Bob under a buyer's agency agreement. So those 3 are obvious, like kind of obvious to me that they're definitely not the answer. But then the 4th answer is she is a dual agent. So that's the answer. But the thing that confuses me is that the first sentence is an agent is working with Bob Buyer. So working really doesn't mean that they're a client, correct?
Correct. Working, yeah, go ahead.
And then the second part that I felt like maybe I was reading too much into it, is that the last sentence says she must keep this confidential if. So my interpretation of dual agency is that if you and I are the brokers in the same firm, we've got 2 clients, your seller client, you're the buyer and a seller client. I feel like me as the broker, I don't speak to the clients anymore. But I can speak to you, Seth, as the broker.
As the which broker?
Like me and you are brokers.
Okay, so one of us is working with the seller, one of us is working with the buyer?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you and I can speak, right, about anything we want. We just can't speak to the clients.
So here's the thing. That's actually a very astute interpretation because, quite literally, in dual agency, you and I could arguably speak completely freely and tell all the secrets. Why? Because neither of us can use the secrets. Right. So you're right. That is but that's a very deep-rooted interpretation. And so quite literally, it would be the opposite because, and I hate to say this, Maureen, in the real world, we have to assume everybody's a moron. And so while you understand that no matter what you know in dual agency, you can't use it, the other agent, even though they're in the same firm, may not understand that. So that was really where it's going, right? There's just no reason to share that information with anybody else in your firm at that point because nobody can use it anyway. So the answer is you'd keep it confidential because you're a dual agent, because that information can't be used and you owe both clients the same fiduciary duties, which means you can't share secretive information about either. Whether it be, to somebody else in your firm or not, you can't share it. But you're right.
In real life, if I'm in dual agency, just keep my mouth shut.
Correct. Because you're absolutely right. Arguably, we're all on the same team, right? It's okay if we all know the information. But, folks, did I tell you that there's a lot of agents who don't even put restrictive covenants information correctly out there? I hate to say it, but literally, you can't assume that people know the rules. Let me give you another, because Maureen, that is, I was not sure where you're going, but that is actually a very profound observation and interpretation on your part, because, and I'm being serious. It is, because it's 100% true. But let me explain something to you. And if you've taken 302, you may have had this discussion, and we're going to talk about it a little bit in this class as well. Let me ask you a question, and I want everybody to answer this. Nobody blurt it out loud. I want you to put it in the chat, okay? Nobody say it out loud. Is a shed personal property or real property? Nobody say it. Either put personal or real in the chat right now. And Maureen, there's the answer to your question. We have a class divided. Half of you think it's real property, half of you think it's personal property. I've even got some curveball answers, like depends on how it's constructed. It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
But if you can pick it up and take it with you.
Hang tight. Let me show you this.
Or if it's on a foundation, I guess you can't.
Folks, there's a point to this, right? I'm showing you, you don't know what you think you know sometimes. And just like you don't know what you think you know, other people don't know what they think they know. And don't you ever leave anything up to chance. The most dangerous thing you can ever do in real estate is assume that people know what they're doing. You got to make real estate transactions stupid proof, right? I'm being dead serious. You got to make them stupid proof. And let me show you why.
So it doesn't matter how it's constructed.
No.
Or anything? If it's there and you sell the house, it has to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're like, this isn't part of it.
You can exclude it, but you could exclude it. Folks, let me give you the epiphany of the day. Okay? Oh, dang it. Every time I try to share my screen back, somebody pops in and blocks my screen. Here is your offer to purchase in contract Form 2T that you are all utilizing for most real estate transactions. It is very important that you understand, and we're going to talk about this in the seller section. When you sit down with a seller and you sign a listing agreement with the seller, there is a section in the listing agreement that mirrors this section right here. Talking about fixtures and exclusions, which we taught you in pre-licensing. So here's the deal. It's in the listing agreement because it is exceptionally important for you to have a conversation about what is real property and what is personal property and what it will default to. If something is real property, it defaults to staying. If something's personal property, it defaults to going with the seller. And if we want to do anything opposite of the default, we would have to name it in the contract. So that's why it's so important to talk to a seller about what's staying and what's going. So here's what you have to understand. It looks the exact same in the listing agreement and the sales contract. And on the sales contract is what matters between the buyer and seller. So when you look right here, all existing fixtures are included in the sale as part of the purchase price, free of liens unless excluded in subparagraphs D or E. You know what that means? When you look at this list of fixtures, it has to stay if it exists at the house unless you exclude it. Folks, what does this say right here?
Storage shed, utility building.
Does it say anything about how the Son of a Gun is constructed? No. And here's why I'm giving you this very valuable lesson. When I help a buyer buy a house as a storage shed, no offense, folks, I teach this ish. So every single time, one of two things, here's what I do. You ready for this? I either come down here and under personal property, I'll write storage shed. And that's my gentle reminder, hey, moron, I want you to know that we are getting the storage shed. Or I'll pick up the phone. You ready for this, Becky? I'll pick up the phone and I'll say, hey, Chachi, you do know that the storage shed is a fixture, right? And it's staying at the house. And when the listing agent says, yeah, I say, oh, thank God, you know something. Okay, I'm going to send the offer over. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. Folks, don't assume, because here's what's going to happen. If you assume the storage shed is staying, but the listing agent is a moron and tells the seller that they can leave it, or I'm sorry, take it, and you get on the day of closing, sucks to suck, Chuck, right? Now we got some BS to deal with. because the buyer wanted it, the seller took it, so now you're fighting. Give me a credit to make up for it. No, you can close or you can terminate. They're right? It doesn't matter who's right. Folks, contracts are worthless unless you're willing to go to court over them or people are willing to negotiate.
What about like a greenhouse that you build in your backyard?
I would not leave anything up to chance. If it's not on the list, name it. You're either excluding it or you're leaving it. Just don't leave anything up to chance. There are some things that just aren't on this list, like oddly specific things like greenhouses. Could you argue that it's under a category of, something else? Maybe, but don't leave it up to chance, right? Always, you got to make these things stupid proof. Any ambiguity in contracts will screw your clients. What you got, Rashida?
So if you're a listing agent and you're working with your seller, you're like, are you planning on taking this shed with you? And if they say yes, and like, well, you're going to have to remove it before we list this property.
Not at all, Rashida. Here's what you'd have to do. All you have to do, and this is why it mirrors the listing agreement and in here. If your seller wants to take the shed, here's what you do. You put it in the MLS. Seller desires to take the shed with them when they go, and you make sure that any offer that comes over, somebody's come in here and they wrote shed, items that do not convey. And that's all it takes. If all parties agree that the shed is going to leave with the seller, it's fine. It's not a fixture anymore. You've severed it. But if it never makes it in here and everybody signs the contract, that damn thing is staying. Folks, let me explain something to you, and I'm going to get your question, Angela, because y'all, folks, pre-licensing existed to help you pass a test, okay? Listen to me. Look me deep in the eyes. Let's get romantic here for a second, okay? Awkwardly romantic. Nailed, screwed, or glued mean jack shit. It's whatever's on this list, okay? You know what IRMA was? IRMA, if you didn't catch this, was a total circumstance test by the courts. You know what that means? If the courts are deciding if it's a fixture or not, you've already screwed up. That means somebody disagreed. Somebody took something that wasn't supposed to be taken and somebody took them to court. The total circumstance test was for the courts to decide, was it a fixture or not? We don't rely on nailed, screwed, or glued. We rely on this effing list. Do not worry about anything else except for this list. It was on the wall. Doesn't matter. Right? Pictures hanging on the nails, that's not a fixture. So don't think that you're going to get that. When in doubt, ask for it or exclude it. Don't ever rely on what you learn in pre-licensing, right? It's movable. You can ask for movables.
If you want something or want to exclude it, just mention it.
Yeah, right. Folks, you can ask for anything. If you want the greenhouse, put it in right here. If you want their patio furniture, put it in right here. If you want their Maserati, put it in right here. Now, the lender's not going to like that.
Their children.
Right? If you want their children, if you want their snakes, put it in right here. Right?
Hell no.
Hell no, you can't have my snakes.
Can't you just do a separate bill of sale on it?
Now, here's the thing, Bridget. I always recommend you put it on here first, because that's how you guarantee that you're going to get it. The lender will not like most things on here, so what they will ask for you to do after you're under contract is move it to a bill of sale and then strike through it on the contract. But always put it on the contract first so you know everybody's in agreement that it's going to the person.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah, then move it to a bill of sale.
Close.
Let me tell y'all, okay, look, folks, you can't get this, okay, just reading a book. I'm going to give y'all two real world things that y'all need to understand. Okay, let me give you some real world scenarios. Number one, I want to explain how important it is to be super, super specific. Let me give you a scenario here. This one's fictitious, although it has happened to many people, Travis included, and then I'm going to tell you what happened to me. So let's say that you have some buyer clients And you are walking through a home, and it is a beautiful home. The wife is just walking through. She's just oohing and on. She's, oh my God, this place is so cute. Look at this shiplap in this little nook. This is where I'm going to do my arts and crafts. This is where the kids' stuff's going to go, right? She's just having a grand old time looking at this house. And the husband's playing on his phone watching the football game. Yeah, babe, it's great. Yep, it's great. Cool. And he's just wandering around the house while she's so excited. And he walks into the kitchen, and he's like, oh my God, babe, check this out. This is our refrigerator. It makes the damn whiskey ice balls, babe. Have you seen these things? This is the coolest refrigerator ever. It makes those, the whiskey balls, right, with the ice. She's like, yeah, cool, whatever. Well, before I take the story any further, let me ask y'all the question. Is a refrigerator personal property or real property?
Personal.
Personal property.
Personal. It's not a fixture. So, homeboy looks at his agent, right? And he's like, oh my God, can we ask for this fridge in the deal? The agent says, of course you can. So what does the agent do? They draft up an offer and they come down here under personal property. They, right? Refrigerator. Is that how you spell it? Sure, why not? Okay. The refrigerator. They send the offer over. It gets accepted. Hell yeah. Wife's excited. Husband is excited. Okay. 45 days later, it's closing day. They go for the final walkthrough. And they're walking through the house, and the wife is like, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is my dream house. I just can't wait to have all my friends over. We're going to have wine with the girls. It's going to be great. This is going to be awesome. And the husband just goes right to the refrigerator, and he walks in there, and this is all you hear. Ah! Ah! What is that? Ah! Right? And everybody rushes in there to come see what's going on. And he's looking. He's like, what is this crap? And over there where this beautiful stainless steel ice ball refrigerator was, there is a dirty, dingy, white refrigerator sitting there. Uh-oh. You didn't see the dirty, dingy, shitty refrigerator sitting in the garage that held the beers covered in oil and grease stains? Oh, well, sweetness, guess what? You asked for a refrigerator. You got a refrigerator. You have no legal recourse. Guess what? You as a buyer's agent about to buy the most expensive closing gift you ever bought in your life. Those things cost about $3,600. By the way, I've looked. I like whiskey ice balls. Okay? Them things is expensive.
36.
36? Is that what you said, Raul? You got one? No, yeah, it's a lot.
That mess.
Yeah, right. Me neither. I would never pay that much for the freaking refrigerator. But do you see the point here? It's interpreted literally. You asked for a refrigerator, you got a refrigerator. You know what you should have said? The whiskey ice ball Samsung French door stainless steel refrigerator in the home at the time of showing, model number SP77654327771.
How is that in the model
So
serial?
you just have to be really specific.
You have to
like
be,
which-
yes, because there's no legal recourse. Folks, Travis tells his story. Early on in his career, he made this mistake and he had to buy a refrigerator. And the dirty, dingy one, it's still in his garage because he took it home. Because he had to buy somebody else a brand new one and he took the refrigerator home and it's in his garage. This is it didn't happen to me, but it happened to Travis. Not exactly like that. But this can happen. Folks, I promise you make that mistake once in your career and you will never look at a refrigerator the same. Right? You'll be getting the stuff from your fridge to make a ham sandwich and you say, effing refrigerator, and you slam the door, right? And your wife's like, stop slamming the door. It was 10 years ago. You're like, I just can't get over it, right? This is real world stuff. You've got to be literal.